From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
Thanks for joining us. It is Friday, November 7th. Let's just linger on the Friday part. Right?
Let's linger, right. Travel woes, cup of joe, let's go.
People are really pissed off. Everybody's talking about it.
Everybody talking about it because thousands of travelers are living it. A reduction in flights at SFO, Oakland, and airports all over the country, leading to thousands of delays and cancellations.
If they were able to get us on another airline, that would be great, just so we could get home.
We're live from Bay Area airports with news to help you navigate.
You need to know how to get things done.
I really think it's a difference of status quo versus change.
Plus, House Speaker Emerita and San Francisco legend Nancy Pelosi says she will not seek re-election. What's next for the voice of Democrats in Congress, and who wants her San Francisco seat?
This is a Beyonce set.
And history class on a Friday for you with a San Francisco staple. How San Francisco's Levi's museum showcases a fashion brand that changed American culture forever.
All right, let's take a quick check outside as we head out the door. I want to show you a couple things that are going to happen as we head outside this afternoon. We're talking about dense fog this morning all throughout the Napa and Sonoma valleys. That dense fog advisory is still in effect right now for places like Novato, stretched all the way up into Santa Rosa. We're holding on tight to low 70s this afternoon once that fog starts to bleed off. But here's where it's at right now, really just at the mouth of the bay, stretched all the way up into the North Bay. Heading into this afternoon, we're gearing up for 70s off into the East Bay, down into the Santa Clara Valley. A drier weather pattern on tap for us as we dive into this weekend. Still have some light showers sweeping throughout the North Bay this morning. It'll look a lot different this afternoon. Reed?
Jess, thank you. Okay, so the big story today, and it's developing, and it will throughout the day, looking live at SFO and Oakland airports on a morning where air travel is about to hit turbulence all over the United States. So here's your headline. The Federal Aviation Administration ordered a 10% reduction in air traffic with a phase-in that starts right now, this due to staffing shortages with the U.S. government shutdown. So you see right here, the 40 airports ordered by the feds to cut back their flights by 10% by next week, or they will face fines. Our airports are on the map. That cutback will start fully by next week, but 4% this morning. And here's the impact. More than 800 flights this morning already canceled in the United States. The FAA saying those cuts will make flying safer because of those shortages of air traffic controllers as the government remains shut down. So let's go live to Veronica Macias at SFO. So, Veronica, when those travelers get to SFO this morning, they look up at those boards, what are they seeing, friend?
Good morning. Well, at this hour, those cancellations, delays, not really jumping out at you at the board right now. And it seems like these airlines have anticipated there's full staff at the counter. So people are very pleased with that. Still, look at over at TSA. You have a lot of anxiety building with passengers, especially passengers who know they're going to be making a connecting flight. These cuts in response to a critical shortage right now of air traffic controller during the longest strike in U.S. history here, coming just as we head into the busy holiday travel season. Travel pros tell us if you have a flight booked that you don't absolutely need to go on, cancel it before the deals on that flight changes and it runs out. Major airlines, including United, American, Southwest, and Delta, they're waiving change and cancellation fees. And try your best to avoid routes with connecting flights. We hear that from passengers. The situation is just a big headache for people who made plans way in advance. I met a family just a few minutes ago traveling to Hawaii for 5 days, and they made some reduction in air travel. They planned ahead.
So far, so good. I mean, we saw the alert last night, so we actually booked 2 flights to Hawaii. One's refundable. If the first one doesn't go, the second one hopefully will.
We'll get there, yeah.
Yeah.
Our kids are pretty seasoned travelers, so we've just told them that they have to expect delays, and we'll get there when we get there. And we may not get back. I don't know. We'll see what Wednesday holds, I guess. But
that's not a bad deal.
Exactly. If we get stuck in Hawaii, we get stuck in Hawaii.
So traveling alone when you have changes and cancellations can be a nightmare. So imagine what that's like traveling with two little kiddos. So they seemed well behaved this morning. But for that family, I also reminded them that within the last year, the Department of Transportation has made changes. So if a person gets that notification that they've had a cancellation or even a delay of 3 hours, they can receive a cash refund, and that has to be given to the family within 7 days. So there are some protections here for families who are going to be facing chaos at the airports, and we are expecting that. We've heard from travel experts.
First of all, your flight may be delayed severely or canceled altogether. That's likely to happen more to regional flights. I think you're also going to see longer lines at the TSA checkpoints, mainly because people won't know necessarily if their flight has been canceled or delayed. So we're going to start seeing a lot of bottlenecks there.
And just going down the terminals, Reed, I could tell you some are busier than others. And we could see United has definitely anticipated for the reduction in flights. They were fully staffed this morning. Met a woman who says she was pleasantly surprised this morning. It's been smooth sailing for them. Meanwhile, other airlines like Alaska had a big line there. We are waiting for an update later today from United as far as how they're going to be rolling with these updates, as there will be ripple effects throughout the day. Sending it back to you in studio.
All right, it's just going to be one of those days. Veronica from SFO, but let's go live now to Oakland. They are also on that list. Here is what our photographer Brian Kiley is reporting out there. Oakland Terminal 2, 3 canceled departures, 1 canceled arrival. 5 departures experiencing delays, 30 minutes to an hour. Most of the yellow you see on the arrival side are actually arriving early. So to the point of the FAA, they said they would have some contingency plans, but there are already some cancellations to report. Listen, our job is to report what's happening at the very latest. And so throughout the morning, stay with us. If you know somebody in the traveling public this morning, we will bring you all of those updates as the impacts start to hit. Once again, 4% of flights right now, SFO in Oakland, will be canceled or pulled back 10% by next week. So travel all over the country is going to be a mess. Now, there's another impact to talk about this morning. Aside from people, your packages. Get this, air cargo planes used by companies like FedEx and UPS. They are also a part of flight reductions. Word this morning, expect a slowdown in getting your package, so supply chain issues will also be a big deal by the time you sit down for your dinner time headlines. All of this puts pressure on Republicans, of course, and Democrats to get a deal done, to get the government up and running again. In fact, we understand calls to lawmaker offices around the country are ringing off the hook.
Yeah, a lot of people upset, but there is some optimism that they could be reaching a deal sometime soon. Senate Republicans preparing a potential vote on a House funding bill with the goal of amending it. So that is an appeal to moderate Democrats. Meanwhile, there is some hope for relief for the 42 million Americans who get food stamps. A judge ordered the Trump administration to fully fund SNAP benefits by today after it had said that it would only provide partial funding this month. The Trump administration says it plans to appeal, but Governor Newsom's office says that some payments are already going through. And that has not stopped Bay Area counties from stepping in to help people who rely on food stamps. Marin County authorized spending up to $800,000 this month for SNAP recipients, also known as CalFresh here in California. County leaders say that they are considering distributing the money with gift cards. Other Bay Area counties like San Francisco have similar plans.
So here's where you come in. As food assistance needs surge in our community, we are your community station. We are proud to bring back our work with Food for Bay Area Families, one of my favorite community initiatives all year long. For more information on how you can donate to our local food banks, and they are angels out there. They volunteer, and you can actually become a volunteer. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen. You can also head to kpix.com/give to find out ways that you can do something about all of this. By the way, we know it maybe takes a second to pull out your camera phone, so just remember, we'll repeat that throughout the morning, so stay tuned for more ways to help. And
all right, moving around the Bay for headlines in your community. The process of finding a new sheriff in San Mateo County is down to 3 finalists. And the person who's chosen will, of course, replace Christina Corpus, who was ousted last month amid allegations of misconduct. Each of the finalists has extensive law enforcement experience. They include Kenneth Binder, he's the interim police chief in Gilroy, David Lazar, a former assistant chief in San Francisco, and Brian Wine Travis, the current police chief in the Solano Community College District. They are set to take part in a public forum on Monday night, and then the board plans to choose a new sheriff 2 days later. In Alameda, the Coast Guard wants to take control of the bridge to the base where those chaotic protests erupted last month. The Chronicle reporting the Coast Guard's chief of planning has emailed Oakland's director of real estate about extending the base's, quote, security footprint. The call to vacate the property comes 2 weeks after a late-night shooting at the gate to the base and demonstrations and clashes that shut down traffic to the base. We are reaching out to the Coast Guard for more details on that. Police in San Jose have arrested a truck driver they say intentionally rammed into a parked food truck with 3 employees inside. Investigators say on August 18th, Orlando Rivero drove his white pickup into the food truck multiple times, causing about $10,000 in damage. He is now facing multiple charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and vandalism. 11 minutes after 6 o'clock, and the Supreme Court handing the Trump administration a win when it comes to trans identity. We'll explain coming up.
The government shutdown impacting Veterans Day celebrations in the Bay Area. Who will not be able to show up in Petaluma?
And it is a beautiful kickoff to the weekend forecast, but we do have some dense fog up in the North Bay that we're keeping a close eye on this morning. Visibility is low, making that commute to work and school a little challenging. More on that coming up in just a bit.
First Alert Weather, brought to you by AAA Insurance. Get a quote today.
All right, so we are watching live video from these. These are our many monitors bringing us up-to-the-minute headlines from across the globe. And, of course, we start here. We're following this, a series of headline-making U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats, smuggling boats. So congressional members have moved to keep President Trump from taking military action against Venezuela. Those warships are out there in the water already. They say they want Congress to approve before any strike happens. Well, senators voted the measure down. The U.S. military has declassified 17 boat strikes so far. This is video of one of those boats about to go down, and there it is, 70 killed. Justices on the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of a Trump administration policy requiring people to identify themselves by their gender at birth on U.S. passports. Now, here's the ruling. The traveler's original gender is merely attesting to a historical fact without subjecting anyone to deferential treatment. That's the language of the justices. By the way, the 3 liberal justices on the high court dissented. Well, with House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi announcing she will not seek re-election when her term ends in 2027, we look at the future of the Democratic Party, and specifically, and what I'm fascinated about is who will be San Francisco's vote in Congress. Bottom line, boil it to the bones. Who's next? And what's next?
Yeah, so far, only 2 candidates have joined the race, launching campaigns before Pelosi's announcement. Kelsey Thorne spoke with them, the people hoping to fill that seat, to get their thoughts on the future of the district.
For the first time in 40 years, San Francisco will have a new representative in Congress after Election Day 2026. And whoever succeeds Nancy Pelosi knows they'll have some big shoes to fill.
San Franciscans set the bar very, very high. And you need to have a moral compass and core values. You need to have a backbone of steel. And you need to know how to get things done.
You know, when she first went into Congress, she was this fearless voice that was fighting to get help for the AIDS epidemic that was devastating the city at that time. And because she was fearless, because she spoke out and she fought, we got money and we got help, and she actually did a lot for that. And, you know, what I sort of feel right now, when I look at the country right now, I think San Francisco needs that again.
State Senator Scott Wiener and Shoykot Chakrabarty, a former tech executive and chief of staff to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, have thrown their hats in the ring. Both men are 30-plus years younger than Pelosi and lean farther to the left on the political spectrum.
You know, I really don't think the divide and the generational change that's happening is about left versus center. I really think it's a difference of status quo versus change, right? Are we going to have a new party of leaders who know how to fight to stop this coup and use every tool at their disposal to stop Trump right now? And will we have an actual vision to create an economy that works for people?
You know, I'm proud to be running to represent San Francisco in Congress, and it would be just an incredible honor to take the work we've done around housing, healthcare, clean energy, civil rights to Washington.
Caroline Heldman, a professor of politics at Occidental College, says whoever wins Pelosi's seat will have the eyes of not only the Bay Area, but the entire country on them.
Given the fact that Nancy Pelosi is arguably the most powerful woman in U.S. political history, anyone who is taking her seat is going to get a lot of focus, at least during their first term in the House.
Caroline expects there may be even more candidates that enter the race for Pelosi's seat, but no matter who wins next November, she expects they will have much more liberal views than the former speaker. It's something Caroline says is a sign of the times, but one that doesn't take away from Pelosi's legacy.
I'm not sure she could get elected today, given her centrist position and the divisiveness in the country, but her leadership was so important in maintaining a balance of power between the legislative branch and the executive branch, and that balance does not exist today.
All right, let's take another live look outside this Friday morning. This is a view from our roof of the studios here on Battery Street. And here's Jessica Birch with a look at our weather forecast. It is the weekend.
It's almost the weekend. We just have to get through this shift first. But you know what? Everyone throughout the Bay Area today could just take a breath of fresh air. We finally have some beautiful, nice weather on tap for us diving into this weekend. Of course, waking up this morning to some dense fog up into the North Bay. We're continuing to keep a close eye on those conditions as we head into the next couple hours. Really, it's just isolated a little bit closer to Novato, stretched all the way up into Santa Rosa, too. We're going to continue to keep a close eye on that dense fog advisory. That should expire around 10 a.m. And then daytime highs jump all the way up into the upper 70s. Mid to low 70s in certain pockets from Novato all the way over into Santa Rosa. A little bit warmer the more east we go. 60s on tap for us into San Francisco today. And we're holding on tight to 60s along our coastal communities. Nice and cool conditions there as we head into the afternoon and evening hours tonight. So some changes that we're going to see as we head into the next couple days. There's a coastal flood advisory that remains in effect into the afternoon and evening hours tonight. That stretches from Monterey all the way up into Santa Cruz and along our coastal communities in the Bay too. So just be very careful out there. Rip currents, sneaker waves are definitely possible. A beach hazard statement has also been issued for our friends all along the coastline. It's important to note that if you are heading out to the water today, you just want to take it extra slow. Here's what's happening for us as we head into the next couple days. Daytime highs are going to hold on tight to 60s today and tomorrow for our friends along the Bay. We'll start to see some 70s trickled in there too in places like Oakland and Berkeley. We'll jump all the way up into the upper 70s diving into early next week. And then we have another area of low pressure bringing in more showers and more rain on tap for us as we head into mid and late next week, right around the corner as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. That's what our long range models are showing us. So just be very careful out there as we head into late next week. Of course, the roads are going to be slick once again, similar to what we saw yesterday. Other than that, though, from now until then, beautiful weather for us. Saturday is going to look sunny for our inland spots for any outdoor activities. Sunday, those clouds start rolling in, and that's how we're kicking off next week with daytime highs just a little bit above average, sitting in the upper 70s. For now, I'm going to send it back over to you, Ann.
Yeah, all right, we're going to get a quick check on our traffic. If you were heading out the door this Friday morning, starting in the East Bay, there's an overturned vehicle on Highway 4 eastbound. That is just west of Alhambra Avenue in Martinez. And there are reports of injuries there. So some delays, give space for emergency crews in that area. For BART riders, everything is on time right now. But if you are planning on riding BART over the weekend, take note of this. The Green Line is going to be out of service on Sunday until sometime in the afternoon while crews remove trees and vegetation that they say could impact service later. So plan ahead if you are a BART rider on Sunday. Check out their app for the latest. And over at the Bay Bridge, slow and go out there. A little foggy, so expect that. And the Golden Gate, as we're looking at right now, little fog as well. Let's look at your morning commute.
All right, 6:21. Good morning, everybody. The Niners back home this weekend taking on the LA Rams. And there's a good chance Mac Jones will be back on the field. For Brock Purdy ahead, Matt Lively will have our red and gold report.
And another live look outside before we head to break. This is our camera on Treasure Island with a gorgeous shot of the Bay Bridge as the sun rises and the weekend begins. I'm going to call it. It's the weekend, okay? Let's go with it. We'll be right back. Well, the 49ers are back home this weekend for a rematch with the Rams. San Francisco is going to try to beat LA for the second time this season. Matt Lively has the latest in this morning's Red and Gold report.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
Brock Purdy was limited again at practice on Thursday, so there's a good chance Mac Jones will start Sunday against the Rams. But when Purdy does return, maybe Mac can play another position on offense?
Trent Williams says you don't act like a quarterback. What does that mean exactly?
I don't know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's a very good thing, Mac. His toughness has won his teammates over. He's taken plenty of big hits while filling in for Purdy, but he continues to get back up.
I think he's doing it intentionally now. I think that's kind of what it seems like. He's just getting mildly banged up on purpose because it looks cool.
You've got the bloody nose. You're limping around out there. What's your perseverance been like?
It's all good. I'm fine. I'm just dramatic, I guess.
When we first started playing with him and he was down a couple times, you obviously get really worried. But now when he goes down, you almost, knock on wood, but I just always feel like Mac's going to get back up and find a way to go out there and play.
For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
6:26. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday. So if you rely on federal food assistance benefits known as SNAP, check your account. Some Californians just got their full payment for this month. An opportunity to engage with the viewer, maybe. Go on social media, use the hashtag KPIX, and let us know if you saw your check. We'd like to talk to you. We're going to explain coming up. Now let's go live to another impact of the U.S. government shutdown, and that is, of course, the curtailing of flights at SFO in Oakland. Veronica is covering the first phase, that 4% reduction, right now live from SFO.
Good morning. It's an unprecedented move by the FAA to reduce air travel for your safety during the government shutdown. We're showing you the scenarios here at SFO as now it impacts people in our area.
And we are also tracking what's going on at the Oakland airport, which is also impacted by flight cuts. And you can see we have a few cancellations there and some delays. We'll be right back.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Morning Edition.
And we are taking a live look outside this Friday morning. The sun has risen. This is a view of San Francisco. You can see the bay there in the background. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty nice weekend, Jess.
It is going to be a great weekend, especially when we compare it to what we've been dealing with the past couple days. Of course, we were dealing with some very active weather midweek this week, and now we're starting to see drier conditions and calmer conditions as we head into this weekend. Still some light showers sweeping throughout the North Bay throughout the next couple hours. Really light, though, closer to Cloverdale. We're going to see drier conditions in this afternoon, widespread throughout the Bay. 60s and 70s on tap for us today and tomorrow. There's a dense fog advisory issued for our friends up in the North Bay. That dense fog is holding on tight to places like Novato and Petaluma. I'll show you more of that coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
All right, if you have travel plans this weekend, check your flights. Travelers facing widespread cancellations right now. This is all because of the government shutdown and staffing shortages disrupting air travel across the country. This map from FlightAware shows the active flights right now in the air. Still a lot of them up there, but already more than 800 flights were canceled this morning. 800.
Yeah, the contrast from when we showed that map yesterday is huge, right? So back to the big national and local headline as Federal Aviation Administration cuts air traffic in the Bay Area and nationally. Already flight cancellations and delays, they are everywhere.
Yeah, the FAA says these flight reductions will begin in waves. So 4% today, 5 and 6% over the weekend, and then hitting 10% cuts next week. So that's a lot of people affected. Veronica Macias joining us live now from SFO. You're talking with some of these frustrated flyers.
Good morning. There's definitely a lot of anxiety here at SFO this morning. A lot of people, the first thing they're doing is coming over to the board, checking what it looks like. And at the moment, it doesn't look like the cancellations are really jumping out on you. It looks like the majority of the flights show things on time. But already FlightAware shows that there's 41 cancellations this morning here at SFO. And really, guys, this is an unprecedented move by the FAA for people's safety during this shortage. There's some 13,000 workers right now expected to handle the workload. They're exempt from the furloughs and they're showing up to work with no pay. So for people's safety, we're going to see this reduction here. Airlines like United have said their international and their hub-to-hub flights those are not impacted. It's regional and domestic mainline flights that don't travel between major hubs which are impacted. Meanwhile, Southwest and Delta say the vast majority of their flights won't be impacted. This morning, though, I met two women with two very different scenarios.
Very pleasantly surprised. There were just a handful of people here to help us get our boarding passes, check our luggage. It's been seamless since we got here.
We're actually off to Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're attending a baby shower. So we're here with Southwest, and we are hoping to get on our flight. It was delayed. We do not have a backup plan. If all fails, we might just have to go back home and wish the party goers a happy and enjoyment event. But yeah, we are here and we're hoping to get on our flight. We had a flight that was scheduled for 5 a.m. to departure, and now it's at 10. So fingers crossed.
So since they're going to be waiting a few hours, if it goes past that time, I'm told they're going to cancel their trip altogether to that baby shower. And the travel pros say that's the best thing you can do. If you have a flight that you absolutely don't have to go to, you should cancel it because of the reduction in air travel. Later today, we're going to be getting an update from United as far as what they're doing to handle the situation.
Wow, I can't even imagine these people getting up for a 5 a.m. flight and then sitting around in the port. All right, Veronica, thanks for trying to skid the wheels for these people and have a better Friday than they probably are having. Meantime, taking a live look at Oakland's airport.
Yeah, and we are also hearing from our photographer out there who's watching that board in real time. Oakland Terminal 2 right now, that's where he is. 3 canceled departures, 1 canceled arrival, 5 departures are delayed by about 30 minutes to an hour. But when you hear Esther there at SFO saying she's facing a 5-hour delay just to get from San Francisco to Salt Lake City, 30 minutes to an hour, I'll take that.
Yeah, okay. Meanwhile, a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to pay the full SNAP benefits for November by today. A judge says the administration has not acted quickly enough to release the funds and pay states. The Trump administration says it plans to appeal that. Governor Gavin Newsom's office posting on X last night saying that some benefits are going through to people who get SNAP benefits known as CalFresh here in California. And as food banks see a massive demand with the ongoing government shutdown, we are proud to announce Food for Bay Area Families is returning for another year. For more information on that and how you can donate to our local food banks or volunteer, you can just scan the QR code there on your screen, and you can also head to kpix.com/give.
We'll show that throughout the morning if you weren't able to get a shot of that. Meanwhile, moving around the Bay Area for headlines right where you live in your neighborhood. So if you're in the Sunset today, look out for Mayor Daniel Lurie to give new District 4 Supervisor a walk to meet business owners. This marks Bea Alcaraz's first day on the job. Mayor Lurie appointed Alcaraz to the position yesterday, a couple of months after voters recalled Supervisor Joel Engardio. This is a key time in the Sunset because a lot of people out there want to hear what the mayor's stance is on the Sunset Dunes Park and the mayor's so-called family zoning plan to get more houses built in the city. Here's Alcaraz talking about day one.
I don't want people to just feel included. I want to actually include them. As your supervisor, if that means working towards a compromise on the Great Highway, then that's what we'll do. If that means making an amendment to the family zoning plan to strengthen it and help us maintain local control, I'm prepared to take that action.
So Alcaraz knows the Sunset has lived there for almost 3 decades. All right, to Petaluma now, where the U.S. government shutdown forces a change in that community's annual Veterans Day parade, kind of like we saw at Fleet Week. And the impacts there, the Coast Guard will not be able to take part in leading that very proud Petaluma parade. Still, the parade will go on, just without the U.S. Coast Guard this year. Let's go live now to Santa Clara County, where the kickoff of Veterans Stand Down is an event designed to provide services and support to veterans and their families. This is all, of course, the community reaction to the U.S. government shutdown. We're talking about people manning those tables to give employment assistance, housing assistance, even help people get medical and dental checkups. You also see the food lines there in Santa Clara County. If you think people aren't good, look right there at those volunteers. They prove it. They are. Organizers say even without the shutdown, the cost of living in Santa Clara County makes housing and hunger the biggest struggle that our veterans who've served our nation every day of their lives face. This event continues at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds. It happens today and tomorrow. Good to see good people out there, Ann.
Definitely. 6:37, and for the second straight month, no jobs report's going to be released because of the government shutdown. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger is going to join us live with more on what some private sector figures are showing for our economy.
All right, let's go to the top of the mark, as we like to say, looking out over the city of San Francisco. There's our pyramid, and there's Carl DeFog. We see you, Carl. Thank you for always trying to get into our broadcast and being a part of what it is to be quintessential Bay Area microclimate weather. To that point, Jess will have your forecast after the break.
First Alert Weather, brought to you by AAA Insurance. Get a quote today.
Watching live from our many video monitors, bringing us headlines from across the globe, a federal judge has issued a preliminary injunction preventing federal immigration agents from using force while they operate in Chicago. The judge said that the agents' use of force, quote, shocks the conscience, and that the Trump administration's recent version of events was not credible. She cited an example in which Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino admitted he lied in a deposition about details from a tear gassing incident.
For the second consecutive month, it is the first day of the month without jobs data. But alternative reports are starting to provide a little bit of a sense of where our labor market stands. So joining us live to talk about that is CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. Good morning, my friend. So what are economists watching to assess that current labor market and where it's going next? Because we know those metrics are often looked at by the Fed.
Yeah. Well, the first few reports that we've gotten this past week are really interesting. We have one from payroll giant ADP. They said private companies added 42,000 jobs in October. Sounds like a low number, but that actually reverses losses that we saw in the previous 2 months. All this job creation, by the way, coming at big companies, the ones that employ at least 250 workers. Then we've got the big job search site, Indeed, which pretty much on a weekly basis looks at the number of jobs available across the country. They say jobs available, lowest level of postings since the pandemic. And then yesterday there was a whopper. Challenger Gray and Christmas, which is a big outplacement firm, reported that we had announced layoffs that jumped in October, like dramatically from just the previous month, dramatically from the past year. And so what are we seeing? Sluggish hiring right now with no real hope of that changing anytime soon.
Okay, so you raised something I got to ask about and follow up on. We've seen so many layoffs in our country recently, not to mention fear of AI replacing humans. I mean, you could literally go down a rabbit hole on YouTube every night, and I do about that. So a lot of workers like myself are on edge. If you still have a job, what should you know?
I think we have to calibrate ourselves. So we, you hear me say something like, "Oh, there was a bunch of layoffs," or you hear Amazon lays off 14,000 people, but we have not actually seen evidence of mass layoffs across lots of different sectors, except for the federal government. So we know that the rate at which businesses are hiring is low by historical standards, but I also think it's important to know that holding on to your job is a really important thing that you can do right now. We call this job hugging. And most importantly, if you are in that category, really try to fight the urge to hunker down and try to be proactive, to do something different in your current job, focus on what you can control, raise your hand for a new opportunity, update that LinkedIn profile, fire up your network. I mean, all of these things can really be helpful and gives you a sense of agency at a time where things are so uncertain.
Right, being a CEO of your own name and a leader in this space that you occupy. Okay, so Jill, we know you're hosting a big LGBTQ event in New York. Please send this from the Castro, from San Francisco, to so many great people tonight. 3 big snaps. And for our viewers, thank you, Jill. You can regularly see Jill. Big heart to you there on CBS Mornings and the CBS Evening News. We keep you busy. For more analysis, go to JillOnMoney.com. Let's take a look at what's coming up later on CBS Mornings. We're just very New York right now. Tony DeCopel joins us live from New York this morning. Tony, I always wait to see what tie you're going to wear. They're always perfect.
Thank you, Reed. Very New York and also very Jill Schlesinger. Big fan here of Jill as well, so double shout out to her. Good morning, Reed. Coming up on CBS Mornings, popular weight loss drugs getting a big price cut. Dr. Celine Gowner is going to be on by to break down the White House announcement, tell us when it will happen, what's all involved, who will be eligible, all the good stuff. Plus, in our morning's kickoff series, we will introduce you to Andrew Johnson, the man behind the character, the man inside the suit. He's been entertaining Houston Texans fans for more than a decade as Toro. He's not even on the team technically, but he's got a jersey. He's got a number. I'd put him on the roster. I think he contributes to a W. Also, Kindness 101 with a twist this time from the Hartmans. Emmett and Merrill teach Steve a lesson in humility after Steve talked big about how easy it was to be an NHL goalie. He found out the hard way that being an NHL goalie, not so easy. I could have told him that.
That's right. Glad he had those pads on. Okay, thank you so much, Tony. Good haircut, by the way, brother. Hey, you saw it here first this morning on the Morning Edition. House Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi announcing she will not seek re-election when her term ends in 2027.
Yeah, of course, Pelosi broke barriers along her way, becoming the first and only female Speaker of the House of Representatives in 2007. She is seen as one of the architects of the Affordable Care Act, which passed under President Obama, and is a longtime leader and fundraiser for the Democratic Party, which has often challenged President Trump on his agenda.
You know, all you have to do is walk around San Francisco to see a lot of her work is visible in the city today. She helped establish the Presidio Trust, brought in millions of federal dollars to strengthen the Golden Gate Bridge. She also played a big role in securing funds to help fight HIV and the AIDS epidemic.
Liz Cook has more on Pelosi's lasting legacy in the Bay Area and beyond.
To the first woman speaker in our history, the gentlelady from California, Nancy Pelosi.
And in 2007, just like that, with the passing of a gavel, a ceiling was shattered and history was made. Nancy Pelosi became the most powerful woman in the United States.
I accept this gavel in the spirit of partnership, not partisanship.
Her journey in the halls of power lasted almost 4 decades and turned Pelosi into a Democratic icon, often vilified by her enemies.
I have been the victim of massive Republican ads. I don't believe that your opponents should choose your leaders.
Pelosi was born into politics, the youngest of 6 children. Her father represented Maryland in Congress and became the mayor of Baltimore. Her mother mentored her in politics. Pelosi worked as a kid in her father's office. It's where, as former KPIX reporter Hank Plant found out, she learned how to keep score.
Nancy's job was
to write down all the favors that were asked.
She kept score.
She kept the score.
In the 70s, Pelosi moved to San Francisco and became friends with San Francisco Congressman Phil Burton. When Burton died, his wife Sala was elected to his seat. When Sala decided not to run for re-election, she endorsed Pelosi. It was a brutal campaign, but Pelosi prevailed.
She was 47 years old when she first ran for office, which was in 1987.
Mr. Speaker, I'm saddened and outraged.
In 1987, Nancy Pelosi arrived in Congress and set her priorities. Her legislative accomplishments were many, including HIV/AIDS funding, the Affordable Care Act, and the Dodd-Frank Act, which implemented Wall Street reforms. Pelosi always brought home the bacon. A case in point, the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, which devastated her hometown.
There will be about 14 disaster assistance centers set up in the afflicted area in the entirety of Greater Bay Area, Northern California.
Pelosi secured billions of dollars to help rebuild infrastructure, address community needs, and seismically retrofit bridges. Some controversies have also dogged her, including accusations that she and her husband Paul benefited from insider information about a stock. She denied the claim. 60 Minutes attended a press gaggle to ask her about it.
Do you think it's all right for a speaker to accept a very preferential, favorable stock deal?
Well, we didn't vote for a wall.
Other controversies include her contentious public relationship with President Trump. The heated political climate has led to increased threats against her and a violent attack on her husband.
Remember, the most feared Democrat in the nation for Donald Trump
was Nancy Pelosi. I think the Democratic Party is harmed by Nancy not being there.
It's no surprise Nancy Pelosi loves her hometown.
Thank you, San Francisco, for trusting me to be your voice in Congress. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And of course, we still have another year of Nancy Pelosi representing the Bay Area, so who knows what's ahead. In the meantime, the sun has risen, and who knows what's ahead for anybody's day. It's the beginning of a brand new one.
It's going to be a beautiful one, and as we head outside today and tomorrow, we're gearing up for some partly cloudy skies, but other than that, it's a lot drier compared to where we were at just yesterday and the day before. Here's what's happening for us as we head outside today. Zoom over into the East Bay real fast. I want to show you we're gearing up for some 70s in store for us today in places like Antioch and Concord, stretched all the way up into Napa and Sonoma. It's looking very similar. Now, we are waking up to some foggy skies for our friends closer to Novato, stretched up into Petaluma. That'll clear up around 10 o'clock, but for now, the National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory for our friends up there. What you see below me in this green color, it's a coastal flood advisory that we're continuing to keep a close eye on. Beach hazard statements have been issued for our friends along the coast. It is possible that we could see some coastal flooding as we head into the afternoon hours today. This is going to extend into our Saturday forecast too, so just be very careful out there, especially in those low-lying areas. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Monterey Salinas map, and I want to show us our daytime highs down here too. And notice that green color continues all the way down into Santa Cruz, Monterey, Salinas area. That coastal flood advisory will remain in effect until Saturday, and we're going to continue to monitor those conditions closely. Now, it's a beautiful weekend ahead of us, really. I mean, you take a look behind me, that live look at the Bay Bridge is showing some partly cloudy skies, and that's exactly what's in store for us today along the Bay. Upper 60s in the forecast this afternoon for our daytime highs, but once we head into this weekend, we get that nice warm up as high pressure rolls in. Don't get me wrong, though. We're still holding on tight to those clouds. And then once we head into next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, we have a big change in the forecast. Low pressure moves in. We see another chance of showers right around the corner, not only for our friends in the Bay, but all the way off into our inland spots, too. I mean, places like Napa, stretched all the way off into the East Bay. Late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, we're going to see daytime highs drop, I should say, from the upper 70s to the upper 60s. And then at the same time, we have another chance of showers right around the corner for us as we head into late next week. Back to you.
All right, taking a check on your traffic on Highway 4. A couple of accidents to report. One on the exit ramp heading westbound to Pacheco Boulevard. The other is eastbound before Alhambra Avenue, blocking the right-hand shoulder there. Near the Altamont Pass, crash on 205 westbound. That is just north of Mountain House Parkway. Some lanes are affected, so delays in that area. At the Bay Bridge, traffic is moving slowly this Friday morning. A little foggy out there. And at the Golden Gate Bridge, same fog, different traffic. Cars are moving along smoothly. And that is a look at your morning commute. Time is just about 7 minutes before 7 o'clock. And the world's richest man is about to get a lot richer. Deets on the massive pay package from Tesla that could make Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire. Up next.
Well, you probably own several pairs of Levi's. They're in your closet right now. Maybe you're thinking about having Levi's for your Friday wardrobe. The iconic brand in business since the gold rush. And now we've got a chance to check out some one-of-a-kind pieces. We're going to take you inside a display that is epic for an epic brand that changed the country coming up.
All right, and let's take a look at the snow in Tahoe right now. This is a live look at Sierra at Tahoe. If you are starting to get excited about ski season, just about here. We'll be right back. All right, time for our Money Watch report. Tesla shareholders have voted to give CEO Elon Musk a $1 trillion pay package over the next decade, one of the richest compensation packages in history, potentially going to the world's richest person with an estimated net worth of more than $400 billion. That is according to Bloomberg's Billionaire Index. The big payout is contingent on the company hitting certain targets, though. The U.S. turkey population is at its lowest level in nearly 4 decades, mainly because of multiple outbreaks of avian disease illnesses. So with Thanksgiving right around the corner, the USDA is forecasting the national average wholesale price is going to be 40% higher than last year, but even amid tighter supply, industry experts do not anticipate any major shortage of turkey this holiday season.
Well, you know, since the days of the gold rush, Levi's jeans have really been a staple of San Francisco history.
And now a museum celebrating the iconic denim brand is back open after shutting down during the pandemic. Laureen Ayub has a closer look.
Step inside your denim dreams.
Come on in.
Levi's historian Tracy Panic takes us on a journey through some unforgettable style moments. From Britney's iconic blues to Beyoncé's boldest looks, up close, every stitch tells a story.
This is a Beyoncé set. This is a Swarovski studded pair of 501 jeans and a jacket.
But it wasn't always sparkles for Beyoncé. She and Destiny's Child struggled to get support from fashion brands, seeing themselves as black country curvy girls. That is, until
Levi's brand actually partnered with her to help launch our super low product in the early 2000s.
And taking it back to the 1980s, the actual outfit rock legend Freddie Mercury wore during rehearsal.
He's wearing a pair of Levi's 501 jeans. And if you look very closely, you can just make out the button fly, which is the signature design element of a 501.
And of course, what is a denim display without this iconic Levi's look, famously worn by Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears?
The designer who created this took 7 to 9 pairs of Levi's. You can see the pants there.
From Kurt Cobain to Elton John, every design on display celebrates the timeless cultural impact of Levi's legacy in the Bay.
We started in the San Francisco gold rush, the California gold rush in the 1850s when our founder arrived here. We've been in relatively the same place close to the waterfront ever since.
Because some things just don't go out of style.
I should have wore Levi's today.
I hate jeans.
You do?
Unpopular opinion. I call them leg prisons.
Really?
Yes. Yes, they're not comfortable. I just don't like them. Yeah, that's why I'm always wearing dresses or leggings or whatever. Like, I need to be free.
I just need jeans that do some engineering on what is a very flat derriere. It's terrible. But
You're
look,
learning
you'll see.
so much about us this morning. All right, well, we have a lot coming up. We're jumping over to Channel 44, Cable 12, and we're going to talk about this week's 48 Hours episode. A beloved doctor and his family murdered in SoCal. So we're going to talk about that case that was very stunning. Meantime, CBS Mornings coming up here. You can catch us also on the free CBS News app. And meet a cat.